Well, Jack, obviously it's been, well, it feels a lifetime ago, but the end of the season and everything that went around it. I mean, for you, having sat out so many games in a short space of time because of your injury, how pleasing was it to be involved towards the end?
Oh, it was. I think I played about 6 games. My first game back was the Sunderland game, and was on a bit of a tough spell before that, so I was dying to get back, start playing, try and get some results. But we done it the hard way, but we got the job done.
How hard was it watching? Because are you someone that can just sort of take a step back and try and have a look at things, or are you someone that desperately wanted to be on there?
Oh, it was the hardest thing watching us, especially not win. Especially when you can't go into the stadium, watching at home on the iFollow, you feel like a fan sort of. So I was probably getting involved, but I was just so happy to get back to winning ways and get us over the line.
How tough was the injury? Because in any normal season, the injury that you sustained might have meant you missed less games because obviously the season was condensed. Was that going through your mind when you were injured, thinking, I'm missing so much here? Is it the temptation to come back even earlier than you did?
Yeah, I was hoping when I got the results that it wasn't like a 6-week injury, because then I knew like it was Saturday, Tuesday, so I knew I'd miss. I think I missed 9 when I was out, so that is a lot of games in a season, which on a normal season it would never happen. It would only be 5 games. But yeah, I was just I was upset with the results, but it is what it is. You can't try and rush things back. It's all about yourself, and I didn't want to rush things back, but I thought I came back a little bit too early, but I got 6 games out of me, and then on the Lincoln game I did feel it a little bit again.
In terms of when you're sort of in the treatment room, particularly at that stage of the season, is it people around you that sort of keep you going? Because I'd imagine it's a lonely experience being injured at the best of times, but when you're involved in a promotion push, obviously you really do want to be out there. People that your family, obviously people that you're in the treatment room with, really helping you in that period.
Yeah, of course. Like when the lads all came in, they found out the news. I remember Tomo coming in. He was like more upset than I was about the injury, it was so nice. Like it gives me more like oomph to try and get back fit and helping the lads. But it was so nice to see. Like we had such a tight knitted group last season just gone. It was such a we were so together and so positive.
Obviously, towards the running, obviously the Doncaster game being 2-0 up early on in the game, did you feel as a group of lads that the game was going to be done at that point?
I didn't, because I knew they were dangerous on the counter attack. They had a dangerous front three, so I knew like if we would have got the third, I think it would have been done. But it is what it is. We should have won the game. We should have done it that night, but I think it was better doing it on the Saturday.
When you condense that Lincoln game, when you sort of look back on it now, does it feel surreal? Does it feel that you're a part of it? Because sometimes those games you can feel like you're floating above, sort of watching. How did it feel?
Well, I wasn't a part of it because I came off and we were 3-0 down. So I came off and I had my head in my coat because I knew I was injured, and I thought, oh my God, I'm not going to make next week either, because I thought we were going to lose and having to get a point at Donny away. So I was distraught, but we scored 1 and I was like, oh. And then we got the next one. Then I looked at the time and there was still so much time left. It was like watching a movie. I said to the lads at the top, like, even their lad missed a massive chance at 3-1, which would have probably ended the game. But I knew what we'd like. We'd come back so many times this year, showed so much like determination to get back into games, and luckily the big man stepped up and slotted it away.
Were you calm in the penalty?
Didn't watch it. I told him after, like, what side did you go? Because he normally goes, I think he goes bottom right normally. And he said he went to the left, but I didn't watch it. I watched it after, but I think I was hugging Brownie on the bench, like, we couldn't watch it.
And the celebrations that follow, I mean, that's what you're in football for, really, isn't it? I mean, it must be difficult for you because you're probably hopping around all over the show, but it must have been almost like taking a cork out of a champagne in terms of that relief that you sort of go over the line.
It's just, you can't explain that feeling running onto the pitch, like, you're seeing lads, like full grown men crying, like you show it.
And Sammy.
Yeah, of course, yeah. But it just shows how much it means to people, and that feeling, like you can't actually explain it. Like the feeling running on the pitch, like hugging the lads and then celebrating. It's just, you can't beat it.
And as well, the celebrations obviously you had up until Friday. I think you probably indulged in a little bit of drink. But But as you say, when you're in football and you work so hard, you're in all of the time, you're working so hard in training, working so hard in games, you need that release at the end, and to do it together is what it's all about, because that team spirit is
like this season's been so tough, like it's been so draining, like considering that Accrington Stanley feels like years ago, it's just crazy. But yeah, we've had no time to like go and have like a meal together to like have like that team bonding session. It's just been in training every day. But yeah, it was so nice to do it all together.
How did you cope during the season when you were playing with that? Because as you say, you know, in any other season you do get a little bit of rest, you might have a day off here, there and everywhere, but there's not much time to actually work on things in the training ground. You're almost, you know, given a sort of project in terms of how you're going to play, and then you've got to try and do it all of the time. Was it difficult? Were there times in the season whereby you were really sort of getting to the end of the tether in terms of the mental side of things?
Not really, because I prefer, like, I know we complain about it, but I prefer to play that Saturday, Tuesday, because you don't have to train as much. Like most players are like that, they prefer just to get the games out of the way. But there was times in the season where you thought, oh, I would love to not have a Tuesday game this weekend, and then you got like Plymouth away or something like that, which is just so draining. You get back at 4 or 5 in the morning. But yeah, you've got to be mentally strong, especially in a season like this. Like you've got to keep on top of your mental well-being.
It's strange when you look back across the whole of the season, because we actually pre-season was in St George's Park, wasn't it? Which, as you say, seems an absolute lifetime away. When you sort of look back at that pre-season, obviously everyone talks about how a pre-season can set you up for success, and I think that pre-season actually embodied the spirit of the team, didn't it? In terms of how close you were there. You know, you obviously weren't overseas, so you weren't doing this, that, and the other. It was a real togetherness and a real confined space.
Yeah, that was a really good trip. I think everyone really enjoyed it. It was good. We were there for a week. Was we there for a week? Yeah. Yeah, just set up. We played a lot of games in that space as well. Had a good like training camp, and I think that did set us up.
And when you look at different points in the season, Chorley, for instance, obviously you seem to forget things that happened during the campaign. Obviously that game was a particularly low moment. Obviously live on the TV after you'd scored after a minute, hadn't you, in that game? And then to have the low of that to the high of getting promotion, it's amazing how football can send you on a roller coaster.
That's the whole joy of it, though, isn't it? So yeah, that Chorley, looking back at that, we was in a not a horrible place, but like it was just a horrible result, and it was on telly. It was just a bit embarrassing, to be honest. But the gaffer had us in on Sunday morning watching it back, so we learned not to do it again.
And highs, I mean, obviously you scored some great goals this season. Can't believe obviously you didn't win goal of the season, but obviously Flynn won that one. I mean, Plymouth away, obviously great strike. Was obviously that moment was a special one, particularly when you saw it from behind the goal as well. Yeah,
that was my favourite goal, but the best feeling I had was the Fleetwood goal at the start of the season, just to get us going again. Then Sammy scored straight after. We had 2 goals in, I think it was added time, wasn't it? That was the best feeling, like in a goal, because it was my fault for the first one. I lost my runner, so it was such a relief scoring that goal. But I think that win like sort of set us up to. I think we went on a little run after that, so I think that was a really important goal.
And from a personal perspective, when you look back on the campaign, I know it's been hindered a little bit by injury towards the end of it, but you must be really pleased with your consistency in performance.
Yeah, I think I could have done better in some parts of the season. Like I was carrying a little bit of a knock at some points, but that's what it's about. You got to put your body on the line. But yeah, overall, I'm happy with the amount of games I played. I wanted to score a little bit more goals, but hopefully I can score more next year.
People forget, I think people just say, oh, Jack Taylor, he's instant on the team sheet, people rave about you, fans, pundits, other clubs, etc, etc. But you obviously played a lot of football in the National League, so you've already made such a big step up to League One. Now you're looking forward to Championship football. It must be not a pinch me moment, because obviously you've got belief in your own ability, but you've come a long way in a short space of time.
No, it was. I looked back after we got promoted, I thought like a year and a half ago I was playing Halifax Town at home, and now I'm going to play against Sheffield United at Bramall Lane in a league game, which is a little bit of a pinch me moment. But I've done it the hard way, but I think I've worked hard enough to be where I am.
Yeah, and as you say, you've had to do the hard yards at the National League. People talk about how tough it is potentially in League One, but going to some random grounds on a Tuesday or Thursday night, it can really be a challenge. I guess, as you say, when you grow up as a young footballer, all you ever want to do is play at the highest level that you can, and you won away from the Premier League at the age of what you are now.
Yeah, I'm happy I'm happy to be in the Championship. Like, that was the club's ambitions this year, to make sure we got in the Championship, and our squad was way too good enough to. It would have been disappointing if we didn't get promoted. But yeah, I think, yeah, I'm just happy we were in the top two.
I spoke to Joe Ward and we were talking about the curtailment of the season before last and how tough that was to take given the run we were on and where we were in the league. And I know that the chairman had spoken about sort of Operation Vengeance and trying to make sure we put the wrongs of that season right this year. As a group of players, were you sort of in the mindset that yes, we can achieve that? I mean, it must have took a little while to get over because you've always had that, all your hard work in one season just taken away like that.
I mean, no doubt, I think we would have got promoted automatically last year. The run that we was on was beating everyone, especially at home. And we had a lot of home games remaining in the season, so it was a little bit disappointing, but you just got to take it what it is. And yeah, we used it as like, we didn't really, towards the end, it started to come up in like team talks and things like that, saying like, oh, I remember what happened last year, but it wasn't like in our minds from minute one. It came towards the end, so we used it as an extra little boost to get motivated for the games.
And just finally, obviously you played in front of no fans all this season, bar a couple of games, well, one probably game for you in terms of the Rochdale fixture. Obviously fans have been sitting at home, you've obviously saw them outside. It almost feels like you've, I suppose like friends reunited back in the day. You're looking forward to having them back and ultimately playing in front of them, because it must have been so weird, particularly when you score goals, not to have that euphoric nature of celebrating. Yeah,
it was, especially when you score a goal like that like first reaction to the goal. When the fans go crazy, it's what it's about. It's what football's about. Football's nothing without fans, and hopefully we'll get full stadiums next year, which is what I'm hoping for.